Welcome to another book review, and today we are going to review The Facade by Judy Corey. I'm just going to be honest, I didn't even finish the book. And I was so eager to do this review, which is a first, because usually, I like to read the books and then kind of like bask in it, like, wow, that was a good book before I do my reviews. But I was so frustrated trying to get through this book that I don't even have a voice right now because I was so eager to review this book because of honestly how bad it was. This was not a good book. I managed to get to I think chapter 3 or 4, but I was just so frustrated. The cover was beautiful, which is why I always say don't judge a book by its cover, because the book cover is beautifully done. Like, it was beautiful. Even the synopsis on the back, kind of made me believe that it was going to be a very good book. So before I get ahead of myself, too ahead of myself, basically, this book follows a junior in high school who has older brothers, about 3 of them. The heroine of the story is Cambrielle, which again, even the name is kind of interesting, full. Now, with that being said, I have a unique name, spelling and all, but Cambrielle, So she has 3 older brothers, and she's a junior in high school. Everyone that she associates with is older than her. They're seniors. Her brother's older than her, and their best friend Mack, who lives next door, is older than her as well. Mack, he's the hero. He's the hero of the story. The other main character. He's best friends to Cambrielle's brothers. He lives next door. So kind of giving that next door neighbor, best friend, romance type vibes, right? Basically, Cambrielle used to have a crush on Mac way back in the day, and she got over it, so now she has a crush on this dude named Ben. Ben is like captain of the soccer team, popular guy, yada yada yada. So, how the synopsis goes is it basically while Mac hangs out with Cambrielle's older brothers, he teases about taking Cambrielle to Makeout Point. And another thing that the synopsis gives away is that Mac sleepwalks. So to help him with his sleepwalking, Cambrielle lets him sleep on her trundle bed some nights. So that way, I guess the feeling of someone being there helps him not sleepwalk. Okay? That's what the synopsis says. So basically, as she's helping him with these sleepwalking episodes, butterflies and hearts start flying, and they end up falling in love with each other and keeping the secret romance from her brothers. That's what the synopsis basically gives away. This book is so cringy. One, the dialogue is not realistic. A lot of the reviews, because I halfway through chapter 2, when I was just like, ugh, this is terrible, I was like, let me recheck the reviews. A lot of the reviews via Amazon suggest, oh, this is such a cute story. It's so realistic, and this and that. Reading this book, it is not realistic. For one, this is supposed to be a biracial young man. The dialogue in this book is not realistic. That is not how today's young adults interact. That is not how today's young adults speak or converse with one another. A lot of the dialogue, I was like, I wouldn't see any of my friends, and I'm friends with a lot of males, any of my friends talking this way to each other. Even with the female lead, how she's described as I guess biracial, maybe a little bit more on the suburban side of things, which I have friends from that kind of um, background as well. The dialogue was not realistic. I like the conversations that were happening amongst the characters. It was so cringeworthy. It's like honestly reading it, it was like one of those cheesy soap operas where it's like, oh, you only have three months to live, and you have one character battling cancer. One character finds out that their long lost sibling has two heads. Like it was that kind of packed and cheesy, and I only got to chapter 3. Like I was being thrown so many things that each it wasn't giving me time to enjoy the characters, and then with the cringe-worthy dialogue, like it was terrible. The one thing that had me to say, okay, I'm done, was you go from her, Cambrielle's basically, setting up the book, setting up the scenes where she's like, I'm interested in this guy, right? Introducing each character. Um, and then by chapter 2, you get thrown like some random thing like, oh, these people that Cambrielle associates with is apparently the half sister of Mack. And I'm just like, wait, what? But you just said they were flirting with each other. Like, it just seems very soap opera-y. Like daytime television soap opera-y, which was so cringeworthy. And then all of a sudden now you have Mack, his best friend. Like um there's no like natural going about it. All of a sudden you have the main character who's like supposed to be like suave ladies man, I guess. He's supposed to be boy next door, but then he's the ladies man of the school. Therefore now he's like basically being kind of creepy with Cambrielle. It was just too much. And then their banter with each other was not organic. It was just so cringe. Like you have them calling each other butthead. Who honestly says that anymore? Like, if you're supposed to be these young adults who listen to certain type of music and so forth, I don't know. Butthead seems so middle schoolish. Like, they're supposed to be 19, 18, 19 years old. Well, let me be more exact. Like, 17, 18 years old. And today's young adults don't even say that, especially ones, not to be that person, but a biracial man's not walking around saying butthead. Like, there's so many things that you could say, but you say, oh, you're being a butthead. That's like so legally blonde vocabulary conversation. And even then, Owen from that movie was like, did you really just call me a butthead? No one's called me a butthead since 3rd grade. And that's like what I kind of got from this book. I'm like, they're really sitting there calling each other buttheads. Okay. Like, it was just, I don't know. The banter wasn't organic. The dialogue wasn't realistic. And then, like I said, it was just like, oh, you set up the kind of framework for the characters in the beginning where you're like, oh, my dad was so in love with my mom that when she found out that she had a brain tumor, he went in to become a neurosurgeon. Okay. And he made it his lifelong mission to try to save my mom from this brain tumor. Okay. Then all of a sudden you say, yeah, my mom found out she had this brain tumor, and she randomly broke up with my dad, and he cheated on her basically, and got these people pregnant. And it was just like, wait, I thought you said that they were like long lost lovers. Now you're saying all this stuff happened. Like, you can't sit there and set up the framework of a character and in the next chapter basically say, gotcha. So realistically, there was some drama there too. Like, I just felt like she was writing this story, and when the ideas started coming up, she just added them instead of reworking what she already wrote. Like, it just feels like, oh, how about we add this? Yeah, let's add this. Yeah. I'm like, you're adding too much. You're adding too much too soon. I couldn't do it. And this was like a thick book, but I could just imagine, what went through the rest of it. I couldn't get through it. I couldn't get through it. Now, again, this is just my opinion. This might be the kind of thing you're into. So if you want to read it, I would say check it out. But, like, I really wish the reviews were kind of more unbiased and just gave it to everyone straight, so that way people can make their own judgment on if they want to read it. Because when I was reading the reviews again, after the second chapter, I was like, okay, so no wonder why I ordered the book. It seemed good. And then honestly, this was a book talk suggestion. And, usually I can kind of pick and choose really well what book talk suggests with the reviews, and I can kind of skim out the ones that aren't for me. This one took me off guard because, like I said, the synopsis seemed pretty cute. The book cover, I loved it. The title, interesting. And the reviews seemed okay. But I really wish I didn't order this one because it's just so, it was just so cringe. Like, just the dive, and then how she describes the characters. Every time I got kind of a mental image going on how they looked and how they seemed, it just didn't match up with how they were being described or by other characters, or how their interactions being. Because, like, one of her brothers, honestly, I don't know. It just seemed there was more to meet the eye with that brother. But then how they were describing him, I was like, the images didn't line up, to be completely honest. So, if I had to rate it based off of the amount that I read, 1 out of 5, I'd give it like a 2. Based off of reviews, this isn't a spicy book at all, because I didn't finish it. But if I had to base the spice level based off of the reviews, this isn't a spicy book. They don't go as far as kissing. So I would say 1 out of 5, a 2. Based off of reviews and not on what I've read. What I read so far. So, The Facade by Judy Corey. Read it at your own risk is what I'm going to say. But thank you for watching. Subscribe.